and welcome to the November 1st, 2023 Board of Douglas County Commissioners 5:30 business meeting. We want to welcome those of you who are here with us at the old courthouse and also those who are joining us online. Some of you may be here to provide public comment. The Board of Douglas County Commissioners welcomes public comment. In advance, we thank you for following these procedures. Each action item on the agenda will offer an opportunity for relevant public comment about that topic. We ask that you wait until the agenda item you're here for comes up for discussion. Comments related to agenda items are welcome after the board has had the opportunity to discuss the topic. The Board of County Commissioners will invite comments on topics not on the agenda during our general public comment. This will be directly after considering the consent agenda. It's a time for addressing issues not on today's agenda, but related to the general business of the Douglas County Commission. We will call on folks who are here in person first, and then we'll turn to any online commenters who are here with us tonight. If you're on Zoom, please plan to use the raise your hand function when the time comes and listen for staff to call your name. All comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask everyone to give their full name and Douglas County residence for our meeting minutes. All public comments should be directed to the County Commission. Campaigning for public office is not allowed. We also reserve the right to mute or remove any speaker who is vulgar, rude, or inappropriate. The public should also know that comments received by the Commission during our meetings do not represent the views of Douglas County government. Visual aids are used during the meeting. The presenter will share their screen. Please know that online participants will not be able to view them without a computer, smartphone, or tablet during tonight's meeting. Materials are published online for your reference as well. Lastly, a recording of this meeting will be available on our YouTube page and website. We had a very nice work session at 4 o'clock for the Treatment and Recovery Center. Tonight's business meeting, we have 4 items on our consent agenda. Then we'll do general public comment. After general public comment, we have just 1 item on our regular agenda, and that's a Douglas County request for qualifications for on-call contractor services. We'll follow that up with appointments, commissioner or administrator miscellaneous before we adjourn. With that, we'll go to the consent agenda. Commissioners, is there any item on the consent agenda that you'd like to have removed for further discussion? Seeing none, anyone from the public who'd like to have an item from our consent agenda removed, for the public for more discussion? Seeing no one here at the courthouse, anyone online? Sarah?
Commissioners, we have someone who's raised their hand to speak, but I am not clear if they want public comment. Okay, it's not for...
Maybe for general public comment?
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I would take a motion on the consent agenda item, Commissioners.
Commissioner Reed, I move to approve items 1.1 through 1.4.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. We'll move on to general public comment. I think we have one here at the courthouse at least. Thank you, staff members, for being here for the consent agenda item, and then possibly one online. Rick, go ahead, state your name for us, your address, and you have 3 minutes. Rick, you'll need to press the button.
Need to press the
There
button.
you go.
Oh, there you go. Rick Kagan, 301 Wagon Wheel Road here in Lawrence. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I appreciate the discussion at the 4 o'clock hour about the TRC, and kudos to the county and to all the personnel who've been involved in making this a successful venture so far. I just want to say a couple of things kind of looking beyond where we are now. First of all, I'd be curious to see, and I mean, I heard some things, it's difficult to hear in the room, difficult to see all the fine print on the screen, but I'd be interested in the future in seeing more data about how people are coming to become admitted to the TRC. Law enforcement, family members, private providers, I mean, family members, people just walking in off the street. I think we need to see kind of what that looks like. And then secondly, you know, the satisfaction data is helpful to a point, but my big question is, are we helping people? How are we helping people? And so I'm interested in measures that look at patient outcomes, so to speak. You know, are we moving people toward recovery or steps toward recovery? Are they going home? Are they going to the hospital? Where else are they going, quite possibly? And I want to speak to that a little bit more at the end. So 2 more points. as part of the Justice Matters Mental Health team, we had some conversations with you, Mr. Chairman, about possibility of an independent external program evaluation for the TRC. And so I think it's important for us to kind of keep that issue on the table. I think it will be important to engage a consultant early in the process, even though we're very young in the implementation of this program, because those performance measures and the design of that study, I think, are going to be critical. And then the final point, I see the 1-minute sign. The issue is, you've got all these problems and complications with the state hospital and limitations of what we can do in an outpatient setting. I want to kind of raise the issue of the continuum of care, because we really don't have much of a continuum of care in Kansas, and our legislators have, pretty much not acted on this. And so I think Douglas County is maybe in a position as a leader in the behavioral health field to look at other options for providing service to people who may not need a hospital bed, may not be well enough to function in an outpatient environment. There are other options. I can explore that in more detail with you. Thank you very much.
Anyone here at the courthouse for public comment, general public comment? Checking online, Sarah? Okay. We will close public comment and we'll move on to our regular agenda item, which is a request for qualification for on-call contractor service.
Mr. Chair, can I respond real
Yes.
quick to Rick's?
Sure.
Rick, if you don't leave just yet,
Rick?
Rick?
sorry. If you'll give me a chance, I'd like to email you the whole packet that we had, because there was some additional data that wasn't in the slides that I think you'd find interesting that would answer some of those questions. So if you can leave an email address with Sarah on the way out, I'll get that to you.
It's on our website. It's linked to the agenda. So, but I have your Rick's email.
Right, no problem. Back to the request for qualifications for on-call contractor services, and Jay Zimmershed is here.
Commissioners, while Jay's coming to the podium, I want to talk, see if I can introduce this item a little bit related to it. This is a contract that Jay and I have talked about for a long period of time, trying to get in our portfolio of contracts. This is a best practice with other organizations that do a variety of different levels of construction, is to have the ability to have some predefined scopes of work and pricing established with contractors, and have those available. This process was competitively bid. We issued an RFP for to solicit contractors to be a part of this contract for us ongoing. And then moving forward, we will go to both of these contractors when we have a project and ask them to and ask them to bid it. So this is not an exemption from the competitive bidding process. It just shortcuts having to do an individualized request for proposals on every project over $100,000, which is what our finance policies outline. We discussed whether or not we should have a specific dollar threshold that we would use these for, and in consultation with our director of buildings and grounds, it's complicated. Sometimes there's larger dollar amount projects that are pretty simple. So maybe this would be a good, we could use on-call services for it. There's also examples of maybe a smaller dollar item project that's pretty complex that we would want to do a competitive proposal for. Obviously, proposals that are related to just building system improvements, where the expertise is not really with these two firms. That's an example of something that we would still probably either issue an RFP for qualifications or go to bid on. Those are all methods that we use to solicit contract work. So we were hoping that we would have had more respondents to this. Additionally, I would have loved, I think Jay and I's goal was to have 3 that's really the best practice, is to have 3 folks on this list. It is a very tough market right now for contractors, and we did not have qualified proposals to have 3 bidders on the agreement. With that, I think I covered most of what I wanted Jay to cover. So we stand for any, I'm known to do that occasionally. But we stand for any questions. Jay, if there's something else you want to add to that.
I don't think so. That capped it. Yep.
Thank you, Sarah and Jay. Are there any questions, commissioners, on this?
No, not really. I know this has been in the works as a best practice, and I'm also sorry that we didn't get more organizations that applied for this, that answered the RFP. Is that an RFP that will come out annually and we'll get another chance at it, or what's the length of time until, because if we haven't had this in the past, just getting companies to be aware of it might be part of the issue?
Well, I think we're going to do this every 2 years. Once a year. I mean, an RFP process takes us somewhere between 90 and 120 days. So I think if we did it annually, we'd spend a lot of time just simply doing the proposals. But we've written into it that we'll re-examine this every 2 years.
And I just want to confirm that we would still follow our finance policy for things coming to the commission for approval, correct?
If I can clarify, this is consistent with our finance policy, which allows us to use contracts for service as an option in our finance policies. We also have the option to issue a request for proposals or issue a request for contractors to respond to a bid. So this is consistent with our finance policies. Our current finance policy, since we do not have a contract in place for on-call services, is anything over $100,000 would require either a full RFP or a bid document process. So, and with the cost of construction, $100,000 doesn't go far. So having the ability to access this agreement to do those kinds of smaller remodel projects would be really helpful. But as the commission knows, we went to the commission to issue the RFP for the designs and construction services for the JLE renovation. We will still do that. We're still going to bring, we came to you for projects like the fairgrounds building, that's still going to happen. This is going to be for smaller projects that would be in that range between sort of $100,000 and a little above that. Obviously, I think this is something too that you're going to know about these projects. These are oftentimes included in our capital improvement plan, or we're having discussions related to other things for. So these are projects that you're going to see. And regardless, it's just really to help us streamline the process of issuing an RFP.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay. Is there anyone here who'd like to provide public comment on this item? Anyone online? Okay, we'll close public comment on this item, bring it up to the commission for comments and/or motions.
My only comment before I make a motion is that this seems like a smart and efficient way to help staff be able to navigate what is a difficult sort of environment of getting projects, and the more time things take, the more expensive they tend to take too. So I think this is a smart thing to bring to us and appreciate it. With that, I will move to approve each of the 2 submitting contractors, BA Green Construction Company, Inc. and Icon Structures, Inc. to provide contracting services under the county's on-call construction services process, and authorize the county administrator to sign negotiated contracts.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. That ends our regular agenda. We'll now move to appointments. Commissioners, do we have any appointments this evening? I don't think we do. We'll go on to miscellaneous. We usually start with Sarah's weekly memo.
Thank you, commissioners. You've got an updated memo on the packet. We have our annual county and township road officials meeting this upcoming Thursday. It's always one of my highlights of the event of the year, is getting to sit with our township folks and get updates. So we'll be doing that on tomorrow. There's also some information in the packet related to really exciting news coming out of public health that I wanted to amplify. That public health has expanded its partnership with USD 491 and Eudora to provide on-site WIC services at the Eudora district offices. So excited to see that. And you also have your October update from Little Government Relations in the packet. And then next week, we will have a work session on our E3 initiatives, and got a pretty, and then we will be taking off the day before Thanksgiving. There are also 5 Wednesdays in November, I think, and we traditionally take that Wednesday off. We're beginning to show you what the work sessions are into December. That's all I have, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any other miscellaneous items before we adjourn? No, there are none. We are adjourned.